में रिज़वा तेरी जन्नत को फुर्सत जो मिले देखूं, रिज़वा तेरी जन्नत को फुर्सत जो मिले देखूं। कोई है अभी नजरें तैयबा के नजारों में, कोई है अभी नजरें तैयबा के नजारों में। ऐ काश कबूतर ऐ काश कबूतर भी हम बने के रहे होते, ऐ काश कबूतर भी हम बने के रहे होते। उस गुंबद खज़रा के पुरकैफ मीनारों में, उस गुंबद खज़रा के पुरकैफ मीनारों में। क्यों चाँद में खोए हो उलझे हो सितारों में, आका को मेरे ढूंढो कुरान के पारों में। आखिरी शेर समाप्त फरमाएं। जिब्रीले अमी बोले, जिब्रीले अमी बोले, जिब्रीले अमी बोले, सिदरा के मकी बोले, जिब्रीले अमी बोले, सिदरा के मकी बोले। तुम साना हसी देखा लाखों में हजारों में, क्यों चांद में खोए हो उलझे हो सितारों में। अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाह।
मोहतरम हज़रात, इस नाते पाक के बाद मैं बाज़ाब्ता प्रोग्राम को शुरू करने के लिए एंकरिंग के लिए दावत देता हूँ जनाब मौलाना साद साहब और जनाब मौलाना मोहम्मद इजहारुल हक साहब फासली साहब को कि वो स्टेज पर तशरीफ ले।
My friend and colleague Maulana Sayyid Muhammad Saad Hasmi are the hosts of today's session. We welcome you all to the business session 2 this evening. Thank you everyone for joining us. To further the proceedings, I would like to invite my colleague Maulana Sayyid Muhammad Saad Sahab Qasmi to come over the dais and take over the charge to proceed with the program proceedings. Please come. Thank you, Sayyid Muhammad Saad Qasmi. Dear audience, tonight's session is based on the theme India as a composite society and responsibilities of ulama. Under this theme, the session will witness many good presentations, paper presentations on different topics. We are going to start with the composite nationalism and ulama of Cotober. Second one is role of ulama in maintaining social harmony in India. Number 3 is intra-community Muslim leadership and contemporary challenges. Number 4, an analytical assessment of Cotober's response to modern education, fatwa against English belief and reality. Number 5 is Internet and social media, boon or bane to Muslim youth. Number 6, relevance of Shah Waliullah Muhaddith Dehlavi's thought in modern times with a special reference to his book Hujjatullah al-Baligha. Number 6 is ulama as protectors of Indian culture vis-a-vis their response to Christianization of British India. Number 7, how and why was MMERC established in 1994. Number 9, the need of Islamic Dawah and the MMERC alumni. And the last one is Shah Waliullah Rahimahullah Ta'ala, the pioneer thinker of the modern world. At the end of the program, the panelists will put up their observations in front of the audience. Now, before we go ahead, we would like to briefly introduce our panelists of today's tonight's session. So, we have Dr. Moinuddin A. Jinabade, Professor, Jawaharlal Nehru University. We also have Mr. A. U. Asif, Co-Director, Press Club of India. We have Mr. Dr. Zahir Qazi, President, Anjuman Islam, Mumbai. We also have Mr. Munib Khan, Chairman, Wisdom Collaborative, Hyderabad. And we are waiting for a very significant scholar, Hussain Dhulqarnain, who is expected to reach us within no time, inshallah. So this is the time to start the program formally. And to start the program formally, would like to call upon Brother Maulana Muhammad Yahya Al-Qasmi to please come over the mic and present some couplets, some verses from the glorious Quran along with its translation. Maulana Muhammad Yahya Al-Qasmi.
لآيات لأولي الألباب الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار ربنا إنك من تدخل النار فقد أخزيته وما للظالمين من أنصار ربنا إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد صدق الله العظيم. Now I would like to translate these recited verses in English. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. وَلِلَّهِ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And to Allah belongs the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. وَاللَّهُ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٍ. And Allah is powerful to everything. إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ. Surely in the creation of the heavens and earth and in the alternation of night and day there are signs for the people of wisdom. الَّذِينَ يَذْكُرُونَ اللَّهَ قِيَامًا وَقُعُودًا وَعَلَى جُنُوبِهِمْ. Who remember Allah standing, sitting and lying on their sides. وَيَتَفَكَّرُونَ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. And ponder on the creation of the heavens and the earth. رَبَّنَا مَا خَلَقْتَ هَذَا بَاطِلًا. Our Lord, you have not created all this in vain. سُبْحَانَكَ فَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. Our Lord, we proclaim your purity to save us from the punishment of fire. رَبَّنَا إِنَّكَ مَنْ تُدْخِلِ النَّارَ فَقَدْ أَخْزَيْتَهُ. Our Lord, whomsoever you admit into the fire, he is disgraced by you indeed. وَمَا لِلظَّالِمِينَ مِنْ أَنصَارٍ. And for the unjust there are no supporters. رَبَّنَا إِنَّنَا سَمِعْنَا مُنَادِيًا يُنَادِي لِلْإِيمَانِ أَنْ آمِنُوا بِرَبِّكُمْ فَآمَنَّا. Our Lord, we heard a herald calling towards faith. Believe in your Lord, so we believed. رَبَّنَا فَاغْفِرْ لَنَا ذُنُوبَنَا وَكَفِّرْ عَنَّا سَيِّئَاتِنَا وَتَوَفَّنَا مَعَ الْأَبْرَارِ. Our Lord, forgive us then our sins and write off our evil deeds and make us die only when we have joined the righteous. رَبَّنَا وَآتِنَا مَا وَعَدتَّنَا عَلَى رُسُلِكَ وَلَا تُخْزِنَا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Our Lord, give us what you have promised through your messengers and don't put us to disgrace on the day of judgment. إِنَّكَ لَا تُخْلِفُ الْمِيعَادِ. Surely you don't go back on your promise.
हम पे दरवाजे खुलेंगे दानिशो इदराक के. हम पे दरवाजे खुलेंगे दानिशो इदराक के. हो गई गर आशकारा हिकमत कुरान पाक. माशाअल्लाह brother Muhammad Yahya, your beautiful voice mesmerized us, everybody here. Barakallahu feek. Dear audience, it's time to come to welcome our guests on the stage. I would request the members of the organizing committee to welcome the panelists on the stage and felicitate them. May I humbly request Dr. Moinuddin Sahab, Professor Jawaharlal Nehru University, please come over the dais. And now, I would like to request Mr. A.U. Asif, Co-Director, Press Club of India, to please come over the dais. And finally, I would like to request Mr. Mujib Khan Sahab, Chairman Wisdom Collaborative, Hyderabad, to please come on the dais. And today we have here among us my teacher and teacher of many of us, Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Shaukat Sahab Qasmi. I would like to request him to come on the dais. Jazakumullah, and thank you everybody. Brothers, I would like to welcome all of you and all of the guests today on behalf of the MMERC and the organizing committee. It's time to turn to the theme of the session. The first paper of the session is Composite Nationalism and Ulama of Deoband. You may be aware that composite nationalism, which is titled with Muttahida Qawmiyat, is a topic which has had great influence during partition of India. Hazrat Maulana Sayyid Hussain Ahmad Madni rahimahullah was the lead and pioneer in this regard. He proposed a united India, and for both Muslims and non-Muslims, and strongly nationalism and Islam, which is known as Muttahida Qawmiyat or Islam. The book opposed the partition of India, and in it Hazrat Madni advocated for the idea of a composite nationalism within the united India, which he thought would be more conducive and to the spread and prosperity of his community over the entire subcontinent than any religious partition. But enlighten the topic more and more, I'm going to invite Maulana Manzar Imam Qasmi, a PhD scholar, Academy of International Studies, Jamiat Millia Islamia, New Delhi, India. Maulana Manzar Imam Qasmi on the dates. Please come.
Assalamu alaikum, all of you. On this auspicious evening, I extend a warm welcome and heartiest greeting to all of you. And I wouldn't like to take much of your time discussing about the topic, since the time given to us is very restricted and we have to finish it within the limited time that we are given. So I would just brief you about, but before that I would like to tell you that the souvenir, the copies of the souvenir which are available here, and I hope that each one of you has got a copy of it. On page number 370 you have my paper, from 370 to 380, so it's an 11-page paper written in the souvenir. So to have a better idea of the topic, I would suggest you to read that paper, because it gives you the whole background and it has an academic orientation. So that's a brief about it, because we have a time limitation here. I will briefly mention here the core arguments and the way I have discussed the paper. So here it goes. First of all, let me tell you about how the paper develops. This paper primarily discusses the idea of composite nationalism as understood by the Ulama of Deoband, chiefly propounded by Maulana Hussain Ahmad Madni, and the counter-narrative posed by poet-philosopher Allama Muhammad Iqbal, whose opposition to Maulana Madani's understanding of nation led to searing arguments between them and the other scholars. It also tries to look at what is meant by the phrase Ulama of Jubilee. So you can have a feeling of what I'm trying to talk about. But since it is an academic paper and there are certain issues and certain terms and concepts which need to be understood in that context, that's why I deal with few questions. First of all, there are two terms which is used in the title of the paper, and these terms are nation and nationalism. Anyone having a background of the political science or having some idea of social science subjects knows it very well that there are certain terms understanding which becomes very important, because a lot of other terms and terminologies and concepts revolve around these ideas, how you understand them. For example, nation is one of those terms. Nationalism is another of those important terms, because a lot of discussions, whenever we talk about, if we talk about realism, if we talk about new realism, if we talk about liberalism, if you talk about reconstructionism or constructionism, postmodernism, or even now we have meta-modernism. So all these concepts, somewhere or the other, you have to look into the roots of these discussions. So you have to first of all deal with the idea of what is meant by nation and nationalism. So these are two important concepts. 2 points are very critical in understanding the meaning of nation. First, it is a group of people, meaning that it is a collective community. So one condition of a nation is collective community. Second, which is more important than the first, is that it is organized around the idea of self-determination. So it becomes different from other groups because of the idea of self-determination. One can see that there are many groups, thus one may fail to figure out the difference between a nation and other groups and forms of collective identities. So the distinguishing feature of nation, according to Barrington, is the belief in the right to territorial control. This distinction will be helpful in understanding the debate about Qawm and Watan, the Arabic terms which are central to the argument of composite nationalism, which Maulana Hussain Ahmad Madni talks about. Now, within the title, I also have one phrase which is Ulama of Deoband. It is a generic term. When we talk about Ulama of Deoband, many people get confused what is meant by Ulama of Deoband. Somebody who has studied in Madhahibul Saharpur or Nadbatul Ulama, these people also come within the category of Ulama of Deoband. So understanding this point is very important, because then you may be misled, or some people might get confused. They are talking about Ulama of Deoband, but this person is not a graduate of the famous institution which is in the town called Deoband in Uttar Pradesh. So what is meant by Ulama Deoband is one aspect of. But I'm leaving that now. Just a brief about what Ulama of Deoband are and what they did. You have to just remember that the contribution that they made in the field of education and especially in freedom struggle, because these days that we are going through, you will find these debates and these discussions very important everywhere. So we have to perhaps, delve deep into the past and bring out certain gems from there and bring out the discussions and make them clear to the people that the contribution which are coming or which went in the struggle of freedom, have a lot of shades, and one of those major shades is the role played by, or the still role played by the Ulama of Deoband. Now coming back to the idea of composite nationalism versus two-nation theory. As we know that the ensuing situation of 1857 resistance to the British rule over India had created two groups of people. One group did not object to the British government and recognized it better than the rule by the majority community. And there are a number of people, if you try to go back to the history. For example, Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, Nawab Abdul Latif, Sayyid Amir Ali, all these people, they are understood to be among those people who created the notion of two-nation theory. But the difference between these groups and there were other groups who also talked about two-nation theory is that these people, they thought that there are realities which makes us understand that there are two communities living, Hindus and Muslims, with particular differences. But they accepted India as their own country and they never demanded a separate nation for it. But it is Iqbal's intervention in the debate where it is interesting to understand the theory of two nation and the idea of composite nationalism. And to be very frank and to be honest academically, a number of ulama agreed with Iqbal also at the time. Among them were Allama Shabbir Ahmad Usmani, Mufti Muhammad Shafi Usmani, Maulana Zafar Ahmad Thanvi. These people supported that idea. But there were the other group of Muslims, however, who seriously objected to it, and there were many ulama in that group. The ulama of Deoband prominently figured in there. The Indian National Congress also opposed the theory, which was backed by Jamiat Ulama Hind, the place that we are sitting in, the largest organization of Islamic organization, established in 1919. A socially progressive Muslim like Sir Syed Ahmad, he moved on with the idea of two nations just in a literal sense, and he went on to develop Muslims through education, and he went on establishing what later on came to be known as Aligarh Muslim University. So he did not engage in the debate, but Jinnah and Iqbal and others, they definitely engaged in the debate, and in which Maulana Hussain Ahmad al-Madani's name figures in very prominently. He was a freedom fighter, a scholar of Deoband and a contemporary of Allama Iqbal, and he engaged in the debate. Maulana Madani was opposed to Iqbal's idea of nation and argued that nations, which is Aqwam, plural of qawm, were formed on the basis of homelands, that is Watan or Watan, and not religion. So his idea was that the nation that we are talking about, it is based on the idea of nations, which is people. It is not on the idea of like a different territorial concept. So what is composite nationalism if we talk about it? Maulana Azad had, Maulana Azad is also one of the prominent figures. We sometimes only talk about Maulana Hussain Ahmad Madani, but there are a lot of other scholars who have talked about it. But the difference is that Maulana Azad had expounded a covenant theory of nationalism, drawing inspiration from an agreement known as the Treaty of Medina. After Maulana Madani's debate and his arguments, the theory became associated with the designation composite nationalism. Composite nationalism is an idea and an approach to nationalism. It's not a concept as per se. Okay, thank you. What had actually happened? Because I told you to read the paper that will make it clear what had happened, how the debate started. Actually, in December 1937, at a political meeting in Delhi, Maulana Madani made a straightforward statement. I quote him here from the English translation. In the current age, nations are based on homelands, not religion. For Mirka, the scholar, a British historian, what made this point obvious to Maulana Madni was that people of Rome made no distinction whether a person was Muslim, Hindu, Sikh or Parsi. All were viewed as Hindustani. Iqbal had a different idea. Let me just now finish it by saying that at the time that we are living in, the idea of composite nationalism gives Muslims a strength and power through which we can, counter the arguments which are being, thrown at Muslims, that there are still people who are, favoring or who are showing sympathy to the idea of two nations theory. I think the Ulama of Deoband and especially these scholars, Maulana Abul Kalam Azad, Maulana Hussain Ahmad Madani, and there are a number of people like Maulana Firangi Mahal, Maulana Hifzur Rahman Si Bharbi, these people stood by the idea of composite nationalism, and they were equally participants in the freedom struggle of the country as were other countrymen in India, and that's where we have to be very thankful, and we have to acknowledge the commitment and the contribution of the Ulama of Deoband in this in the freedom struggle and the later stages of this country that we are here. Wassalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
MashaAllah, Jazakallah. Maulana Manzar Imam Qasmi for enlightening us so deeply in this regard. I would request all the scholars who are coming and who are going to present their papers, please conclude their paper within time 5 to 7 minutes. The next paper is Intra-Community Muslim and Contemporary Challenges. May I invite to enlightening on this topic Maulana Arif Masood Qasmi. Please come on, guys.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Respected panelists, honorable chairman, and my dear friends. My topic is intra-Muslim community leadership and contemporary challenges. My paper aims to analyze the condition of Muslim leadership and the challenges faced by it. Now I start my paper. High ambition, wise words, and passionate soul. This is all you need for the leader of convoy. Iqbal's standard of leadership, difficult to find, hard to maintain. Muslim leadership often goes under a scanner whenever a crisis looms over community. Discussion starts on where we went wrong in the course of history, which shaped for us such inglorious present. What choices made by community leaders led us to seemingly dead-end situation where we stand almost clueless about what is the way forward. Many groups and organizations laid claim to lead Muslim community in India but could not outreach masses, while some big Muslim organizations have degenerated into nepotistic charitable trust or welfare society, which at last serve the interest of a selective group, and of course they come helpful during calamities inflicted on people, but lamentably they are devoid of any vision of building the community strong enough to face the hard times. There are several factors for the absence of meaningful Muslim leadership, but I will focus on just some of them. One reason is that Muslims have not even gone through what can be called the pre-leadership process, which requires serious political education of the community on realistic lines. This requires reaching out to the community and educating the people about practical reality. A true leader is one who discovers opportunities even in adversity and knows how to use them in a positive manner. Sadly, self-styled Muslim leaders do not possess this skill at all. In India, Muslim leadership has three phases: political leadership, religious leadership, and community leadership. Political leadership has a few lesser parties, but due to lack of groundwork, they don't have roots in public. If Muslims part in other parties, they bound to party lines. Religious leadership has confined religion to some outward part of religion, and people consider Those apparent characteristics for Islam. Fundamental Islamic teachings are hard to be traced in Muslim societies. Community leadership is just a defensive group which becomes active under threat and otherwise remains passive with no plan to act and no vision to plan. Therefore, challenges faced by Muslim community in today's India are multifarious, like losing identity, social alienation, low percentage of literacy, rampant casteism, lack of social and political awareness, rigid sectarian divide, financial and political backwardness, and little participation from the community in the issue of national interest. In order to meet the challenges both social and political, we need a holistic reform in the community. In my opinion, social and educational reform precedes the political one, because plunging into a political arena without adequate social training and proper education often defeats the purpose. To be noted, any political change unsupported by social change has just a transitory effects and soon fades away. We seriously need to rearrange we seriously need to arrange our priorities. Confession of the absence of meaningful Muslim leadership alone does not expiate the sin of consistent negligence. The responsibility of creating a decentralized leadership comes on our shoulders. Instead of having a single all India or all state leader, we need leaders in each city and in each locality, tasked to resolve local issues in organized fashion. Instead of having one umbrella leadership, we need many umbrellas in different domains. Division of the huge work to be done into small chunks makes it easy to carry out. Community leadership needs to be proactive and not reactive in nature, must be sensing the problem before they crop up. Leading from above the stage generally does not work out. Heroic proclamation cannot substitute for the work done in silence and sincerity. Work is demanded at grassroots level to put things right brick by brick. For this lengthy and passionate job, all the forces of community should be engaged at their respective place. And finally, to face the challenges of time and initiate of change in the society, education is the key. In Ambedkar words, the education is longest milk. Whoever drinks rose in power. Jazakallah. Wassalam.
MashaAllah. Our next topic is an analytical assessment of Deoband's response to modern education, fatwa against English, myth and reality. Dear friends, Ulama of Deoband and Darul Uloom Deoband itself has never been against modern education. Rather, its founders were in favor to educate even their own students in modern academic subjects. There was a time also when the propaganda about fatwa against English had become the national issue and the blame game was in full swing. In this connection, I would like to call upon the stage Brother Abdurrahman Qasmi to enlighten us on this topic. Abdurrahman Qasmi on the dais, please.
There is a request from one panelist that those who are presenting their papers, when they come on the dais, they should tell the paper in the book, page number in the book, so that they can refer and they can know what is being presented. Please.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Dignitaries on the dais, off the dais, respected teachers, friends and audience. My today's topic is Darul Uloom Deoband, an analytical assessment of its response to modern education, fatwa against English, myth and reality. I have basically divided my paper into three parts. The first part of my presentation is Maulana Qasim Nanotwi and his view about modern education. Establishment of Darul Uloom. The second part of my presentation is establishment of Darul Uloom Deoband, its syllabus, approach to modern subjects with special focus on English language teaching. And the third point of my presentation would be an analytical assessment of Deoband's approach towards modern education and the weak points of modern intellectuals about modern education and fatwas. To give you a brief sketch about my presentation so that it would help you to understand my presentation very aptly, I would like to read out the abstract of my presentation in front of you all. It is widely believed that Darul Uloom Deoband imparts pure Islamic subjects for 8 years and it does not teach English language and modern subjects and considered it as unlawful. However, if you look deeply into the entire curriculum and differentiate between modern, rather secular and religious subjects, we would definitely come to a conclusion that Darul Uloom Deoband teaches secular subjects more than the religious one, and nearly 1/3 of the total subjects have nothing to do with religion. The subjects taught here are purely Islamic and partly modern. Partly Islamic and partly modern. However, misconception is created only because of the medium of the instruction used in Darul Uloom Deoband is Arabic, Urdu or Persian. Darul Uloom equips a scholar not for simple scholastic interpretation of the Quranic sciences and Hadith, but its aims is to translate the people's dream into reality and to cater to the changing needs of the Muslim society in India. In this presentation, I would endeavor to establish with facts that Ulama Deoband never expressed such views or issues fatwa declaring acquiring modern sciences and English language as haram or unlawful for Muslims. To begin with the main point of my presentation, it is very necessary to have clear understanding of the viewpoints of Maulana Qasim Nanotwi, Rahmatullah alayh, the founder of the institution. Hazrat Nanotwi is considered to be the most glorious personality who played a key role in the revivifying of an educational movement for the renaissance of Islamic sciences in Indian subcontinent and became the torchbearer of Shah Waliullah educational movement. Uprooting the awful custom of Indian society through its social reformative movement, it would be appropriate to say that Maulana Nanotwi is the only reformist in both pre- and post-colonial era in Indian subcontinent who was supremely successful in bringing about reforms in both the religious and social fields in Indian society. However, the modern intellectuals try to understand Maulana Nanotwi and his new education setup in the light of his recent debate with Sir Syed Ahmad Khan, Rahmatullah alayh, the founder of Aligarh movement. The debate, which was primarily related to Sir Syed Ahmad's religious thoughts and ideologies, Sir Syed followers linked it to the rejection of his educational movement and came to a conclusion that Ulama, particularly Maulana Nanotwi, was against acquiring modern sciences from Muslims, while he never considered acquiring education, whether it was religious or modern, as pre-reverting of a particular section of the Muslim society in India. On the contrary, Maulana Nanotwi strongly advocated acquiring modern sciences for Muslims, not even that, encouraged madrasa graduates to join universities for modern education. However, the situation in which Maulana Nanotwi established a new education movement was unprecedented in the history of Muslim society in Indian subcontinent. Sayyid Rufail Ahmad Mamloi described by quoting excerpts of essay competition Maulana Sir Syed Ahmad Khan conducted, and he received 25 the research essays he received, and after having deliberation of those 25 essays, Rufail Ahmad Mamloi writes, and I quote, The reasons for which Muslims were not sending their boys to join government school, some of them were invalid, but most of them were valid. Number two, if the government brought about some changes in the syllabus for the sake of Muslims, that too could not fulfill the needs of the Muslim society in Indian subcontinent. There were no options, number three, there were no option left for Muslims to safeguard Islamic sciences, to benefit from modern sciences, to equip the children with education that could realize their needs, except by establishing institutions of their choice. Unquote. Why Maulana Nanotwi? Actually, I have decorated my paper with many quotes and unquotes. So therefore, if I leave all these quotes, that would have no meaning of presenting this paper in front of you audience. So therefore, I will request you to please go through the presentation which is already published in this paper. But before concluding this point, I would like to highlight the two reasons which Maulana Nanotwi presented just after completion of the 6 years of establishment of Darul Uloom Deoband as to why Maulana Nanotwi did not include modern subjects in the syllabus. Maulana says, it is clear for every intellectual that these days, education in modern subjects is making such progress due to the outnumbering governmental schools that the old subjects must not have achieved such progress even during the regime of the old rulers. Of course, the traditional sciences declined so much so that such decline must never have occurred in any establishment. In such circumstances, the people consider it as exercise in futility to found a school for the modern sciences, and hence it was considered advisable to spend for the traditional sciences as well. Secondly, the simultaneous acquisition of numerous sciences is detrimental to equality in respect of all the sciences. If you include this, that will not benefit for the students. But we always encourage madrasa graduates to join modern education system, and despite being very, having enmity against Britishers and the British government, Maulana Qasim Nanotwi wished that the government of India could abolish the age limit for those madrasa graduates who want to join modern education system. But why this misconception was spread among the intellectuals in Muslim society in India? I would say there are two sections of the Muslim society. First, madrasa educated people and the intellectuals in modern education. There is one book while I was doing research, actually when I joined Jawaharlal Nehru University, I was asked by many people there as to how I learned English and where. That actually prompted me to take this as my MPhil subject here, and I took Darul Deoband critical assessment of this approach to modern subject in this special focus on English language teaching. And ironically, after repeatedly gathering thousands of pages and numerous books, I could not find even a single point which could establish with facts and could establish the viewpoints of the modern educated people that Maulana of any time, declared fatwa and said that the required modern sciences is unlawful or haram. I will put one book. Please allow me. One book. There is one very famous book, Rebellion 1857. While doing this research in the library, I found this book, and I studied this book is consisting of numerous articles edited by Professor P.C. Joshi, which is a very renowned person. And there is one article written by Professor K.M. Ashraf, who was a professor of history in Delhi University at that time. So in this article he writes, a Maulana from Nanota established a madrasa in Deoband, formulated some rules not to accept British aid, and declared teaching of English haram. They declared teaching of, and forbade teaching of English language. This was bad. Forbade teaching. Please remember this. Forbade teaching of English language. And he quoted this line with the reference of Sawane Hazmi, which is in 2 volumes. But unfortunately, after repeatedly covering the entire page of Sawane Hazmi, I could not find even a single point which could prove this writing of K. Ashraf in this book. And this book was translated 1857 नया इस्लाम के हामी और 1857 का इनकलाब. In this photo version of Rebellion 1857, sir, which you respect, I would like to say. In this book, the writer translated this foreword और मौलाना ने देवबंद में एक मदरसा कायम किया. अपने मानने वालों से कहा कि ब्रिटिश हुकूमत की ऐड को कबूल न करें और अंग्रेजी पढ़ाने को हराम कर दिया. Now the question is in your hand, whether this is the political translation or the real translation. Now there are two sections of the Muslim society. One is who is Urdu educated, and the next one is the modern educated, English educated. English educated people follow this Rebellion 1857, and the Urdu educated people follow this Islam ke Hamia and Islam. And this is how this all mess was created among the Muslim society in India. Unfortunately, I don't have much time to present this paper, but if you go through my presentation, it is decorated with 32 references that will surely give you clear understanding of the subject. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience.
That was really wonderful. Friends, there is none who can deny the importance and benefits of internet today, but it is also a fact that it's one of the biggest challenges for our youth today, as this is such a source whose harms are more than its benefits. Internet has provided a personalized platform of social media to the youth to express their ideas and conduct debates. The next topic is based on the said idea. May I invite Maulana Tawfiq Ahmad Qasmi, HOD Department of English, Darul Uloom Deoband, UP, India, to present his paper on Internet and Social Media, a boon or bane for Muslim youths. May I invite Brother Maulana Tawfiq Qasmi.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem, amma ba'd. Faqad qala Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala fil Qur'anil Majid wal Furqanil Hamid. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Walladhina jahadu fina lanahdiyannahum subulana wa inna Allaha lama'al muhsinin. कभी ए नौजवान मुस्लिम तदब्बुर भी किया तूने, कभी ए नौजवान मुस्लिम तदब्बुर भी किया तूने, वो क्या गर्दूं था तुझिसका है टूटा हुआ तारा. तुझे आपा से अपने कोई निस्बत हो नहीं सकती, तुझे आपसलाफ से मीरास पाई थी. सुरैया से ज़मीन के आईने मुसल्लम से कोई चारा, मगर वो इल्म के मोती किताबें अपने आबा की, मगर वो इल्म के मोती किताबें अपने आबा की. जो देखा उनको यूरोप में तो दिल होता है सिपारा. Honorable Chairperson of this international seminar, Islamic scholars, dignitaries and dear audience. First of all, I congratulate Markazul Ma'arif, its visionary founder Hazrat Maulana Badruddin Ajmal Al-Qasmi, Maulana Burhanuddin Saab Qasmi and their team for conducting such a wonderful seminar. I also express my sincere gratitude to them for privileging me to be invited to present my research paper on the topic Muslim Youth and Social Media, Internet, a boon or bane for Muslim youth. My topic, dear audience, the paper is quite long. However, I would try to sum up very important points of my write-up within this short period of time. Dear audience, social media has transformed the entire world into a global village where people can interact freely with their dear ones located remotely via merely few clicks or taps. While this steeply rising trend has affected all and sundry, its impact on the lives and times of the modern day youth has been maximum. Though a majority of younger lords prefer being the part of social media regulation for their benefit, there are many who have unfortunately got addicted to it. In this paper, I will elaborate the positives as well negative effects of social media with special reference to Muslim youth. It also carries some very valuable suggestions from my side in terms of using social media without falling prey to it. The positives of social media, some very important points. Education. First point is education. With the help of the social media, the teachers as well as the students have made the learning process more successful. Education has become very convenient with the help of social media. Students can easily share important data for class work or assignments. Second point, social awareness. Social media has transformed this domain of life. Now people are more aware and have better and closer understanding of one another's culture, beliefs, customs and traditions. Social media is faster in conveying the news or information than any other media, say radio, television or newspapers. Third point is politics. The effects of social media on politics are as follows. Social media also influenced. Dispensation was alleged to have shut hundreds of Facebook pages and WhatsApp groups of the opposition. Social benefits. If we look at the social benefits of social media, we come to know that they are as the following. Social media allows people to communicate with friends, and this increased online communication strengthens those relationships. Social media helps in making new friendships. On this platform, you can also get to know the whereabouts of someone you have long met for the last time. In fact, I personally have found my lost friend on Facebook. The negatives of social media. No good thing comes without bad consequences. As effective as social media is, there is a high chance that one starts using it for wrong purposes. People are found wasting hours on special sites, acquiring zero productive information. Discount commercials influence people to spend unnecessarily. Privacy violation. Lack of privacy on the social sites has turned out to be the most threatening thing. Mostly the young generation is unaware of the policies and end up uploading personal information in social sites. The biggest disadvantage of social media is that it causes wastage of time. When alerted to a new post or tweet, it takes about 20 to 25 minutes for the average users to return to their original task. This time spent may be longer, even hours. Now I would like to put some very important suggestions before Muslim youth especially in terms of using social media for a better purpose. As far as using of the social media by Muslim youth is concerned, they also spend much time surfing internet and interacting on social media. That is why they suffer from loss of time. And in fact, Islam prohibits from wasting time. People who are extravagant either in money or time are not liked by Sharia. The Quran says, وَآتِ ذَا الْقُرْبَى حَقَّهُ وَالْمِسْكِينَ وَابْنَ السَّبِيلِ وَلَا تُبَذِّرْ تَبْذِيرًا إِنَّ الْمُبَذِّرِينَ كَانُوا إِخْوَانَ الشَّيَاطِينِ. The Quran says in another verse, يَا بَنِي آدَمَ خُذُوا زِينَتَكُمْ عِنْدَ كُلِّ مَسْجِدٍ وَلَا تُسْرِفُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُسْرِفِينَ. O children of Adam, take on your adornment every mosque, eat and drink and do not be extravagant. He does not like the extravagant. I would like to put just 2 or 3 more suggestions. Therefore, Muslim youth should use social media wisely. Here are some of the uses that Muslim youth can make on social media. Start like a GoFundMe.com campaign for someone in need. You may have already seen this, a family in a community whose house burned down or they lost a family. Community service event class. Virtually every field is covered. Encouraging couplets of Allama Iqbal. अकाबी रूह जब बेदार होती है जवानों में, अकाबी रूह जब बेदार होती है जवानों में, नजर आती है उनको अपनी मंजिल आसमानों में। न हो नोमीद नोमीदी ज़वाले इल्म इरफा है, न हो नोमीद नोमीदी ज़वाले इल्म इरफा है। उम्मीद मर्द मोमिन है खुदा के राजदानों में। नहीं तेरा नशेमन कसरे सुल्तानी के गुंबद पर, नहीं तेरा नशेमन कसरे सुल्तानी के
The lady speakers and the show of the program, Cotober, mashallah, wonderfully presented. Dear audience, the whole of India and its Muslims are indebted to Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Rahimahullah Ta'ala, whose thoughts and guidance are benchmark for us Muslims. His book Hujjatullah al-Baligha holds great position among the worldwide scholars, in which he has put up his thoughts. Our next speaker is Dr. Muhammad Qamruddin, Assistant Professor, Department of Arabic, Zakir Hussain Delhi College, University of Delhi, India. His topic is relevance of Sheikh Waliullah Muhaddis Dehlavi thoughts in modern time, with special reference to his book Hujjatullah al-Baligha. Dr. Muhammad Qamruddin on the dais, please.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, respected chairman sahab, my esteemed teachers, respected panelists and ulama kiram. The title of my paper is Relevance of Shah Waliullah Dehlavi's Thoughts in Modern Time, with a special reference to his book Hujjatullah al-Baligha. I am not going to read the whole paper as it is published in the souvenir, and it starts at page number 176. We all know about his life, and many of us know about his works, the books, the writings Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Dehlavi wrote. I just gathered 10 points, or we can say 10 ideas or thoughts, which we can say are very relevant in this modern time also. The first idea is returning to God. The second idea is Quranic sciences, its translation and interpretation. The third is treatment of hadith, his approach. The fourth is rational Islam, the Quran and Sunnah and human intellect. The fifth is fiqh, the school of thought, integration of hadith and fiqh in a correct way. The sixth is unity of the Muslim Ummah. The seventh is politics and Islam and integration. The eighth is socio-economic ideas. The ninth is reformed Sufism, that's called Ihsan. The 10th is an eye to the Fitra. As far as returning to God is concerned, so Hazrat Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Dehlavi emphasized on this, as in the 19th century India, Muslims were facing menacing problems. They were far away from the real creator and sustainer. The Islamic teachings were mixed up with myths, superstitions, non-Islamic rites and customs. They were plunged in shirk. Low moral activities were prevalent in society. Political and social economic plight was primarily due to the rejection of the standard Islamic faith and belief. So he emphasized on the true Aqidah. The second point which I gathered from his writings is Quranic sciences, translation and interpretation. Shah Waliullah Muhaddis Dehlavi Rahmatullah alayh, he translated the Holy Quran in Persian language and he adopted his own way in translation. According to him, translation should be precise and concise, very parallel to the Quranic text, based on the appropriate words and structures. It should be according to the level of understanding of the readers. The words should be plain, lucid and clear. Archaic language should be avoided. Unnecessary events and explanations should be avoided, and it should be in a way that everyone can understand it easily. He also wrote a booklet, namely Al-Muqaddimah fi Qawanin al-Tarjama. This book precisely gives the method of translation of the Holy Quran. The third point which I gathered from his writings is the treatment of hadith, his approach. The primary approach, his approach is the explanation of hadith. He adopted his own method, and that is connecting the reason with the text and creating relation between hadith and fiqh. That is well explained in his famous book Hujjatullah al-Baligha. The fourth item which I gathered from his writings is the rational Islam. He interpreted the Islamic Sharia, the Sharia with which is based on the Quran and Sunnah. And we all know that the time when Shah Waliullah lived was the time of logic, rationalism was on the rise, and it was affected by the Persian philosophers. Shah Waliullah took this approach of the people as a threat to the Muslim Ummah. To respond to this rising challenge, he wrote his famous book Hujjatullah al-Baligha. The fifth item which I gathered from his writing is fiqh, the school of thoughts, integration of fiqh and hadith. And in this way, he also adopted the moderate path. And he advocated the ijtihad also, as it is the necessary part of the human life. A human life to respond the new ideas, new issues. But on the other way, he clearly opined that there is a great security in following the four juristic schools, while there is a great risk in rejecting them. The sixth point which I gathered from his writing is unity of the Muslim Ummah. His whole writings focus on the unity of the Muslim Ummah. Through his writings, especially his letters, he informed the Muslim rulers, nobles and intellectuals to be aware of the alarming situation and its possible consequences. He instructed them to be united. And the seventh point, which I gathered from his writings and from his movement, which is politics and Islam, and he sees a connection, a strong connection between them. To him, true politics is the part of Islam, and society, in his view, is not an assemblage of units but a living organism. Hujjatullah al-Baligha also gives theories and explanation of the requirements of the politics and compulsory features of the rulers. A separate chapter in his book, he discusses it in a separate chapters. As far as social reform is concerned, so he developed a very unique, we can say, term, which is known as al-ittifaqat, which signifies in his term that lawful dealings between individuals, cooperation and collaboration, and the means adopted for mutual benefit or for an agreeable and moderate social experience. The ninth point which I gathered from his writings and movement, that is Reform Sufism. We can say it ihsan in terms of the Sharia. And the 10th point which I gathered which is very important in this time, that he focused on, he says that, and I should be to the fitna which claims on us. And he was extremely disturbed by the pathetic condition. That's why he focused on the situation, and he said that everyone should look to the fitna and to the calamities, internal or external. So he included a separate chapter of fitan in his book Hujjatullah al-Balagha and conveyed the message that there are several kinds of fitan, internal or external. He instructed the Muslim Ummah to keep an eye. With these words, I conclude my paper. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
MashaAllah, Dr. Saab. It was a wonderful presentation. Before I go to next topic, I would like to tell you something about MMERC. Actually, MMERC, I would like to tell it in Urdu because there are some audience who cannot understand English. मरकज़ुल मारिफ एक ऐसा इदारा है, सुबह में कुछ बातें आई जिसने अपना 25 साल मुकम्मल किया। यहाँ पर जो लोग पढ़ने आते हैं उनके सिलसिले में कुछ बातें मैं मेहमानों के सामने रखना चाहता हूँ। यहाँ पर जो लोग पढ़ने आते हैं उनमें से 95% वो लोग होते हैं जो ABCD से शुरू करते हैं और सिर्फ 2 साल के अरसे में उनको ग्रेजुएशन के लेवल तक की अंग्रेजी पढ़ा दी जाती है। न सिर्फ ये कि वो अंग्रेजी पढ़ते हैं और थोड़ा सा खाली चंद अल्फाज जान जाएं, बल्कि जबान के जितने भी मराहिल होते हैं, 4 चीजें हैं जो रीडिंग, राइटिंग और अंडरस्टैंडिंग, ये सारी चीजें, वो सारे मराहिल भी पूरे करते हैं। उसके अलावा मरकज़ुल मारिफ के फुज़ला को अंग्रेजी में लिखना, बोलना, किताबें तस्नीफ करना, ये सारे वो काम हैं जो बेसिक लेवल पर सिखाए भी जाते हैं। और आज अल्लाह का करम है कि मरकज़ुल मारिफ के फुज़ला ने अंग्रेजी जबान में वो कारनामे नुमाया अंजाम दिए हैं। खास तौर से मुसलमानों की जो जरूरत है स्कूल की तालीम में, सुबह में बात बड़ी तफसील से आई कि स्कूल में दीन कौन पढ़ाएगा, जो दीन जानेगा वही पढ़ाएगा, लेकिन स्कूल में दीन बच्चों की जबान में पढ़ाना होगा, जिसको बहुत बड़े लेवल पर मरकज़ुल मारिफ ने पूरा किया है। किताबों की तस्नीफ के हवाले से बेशुमार किताबें, बेशुमार तरीके के निसाब तैयार किए हैं। खुद हम लोग जब हैदराबाद में अजान इंटरनेशनल स्कूल में थे तो हम लोगों ने भी एक बड़ा जामे निसाब तैयार करने की कोशिश की, वो भी छपा हुआ है। बहुत सारे लोग हैं जिन्होंने बहुत सारे, और ये सारे काम अंग्रेजी में किए हुए हैं जो कि बहुत अहम थे। इसी तरह से मरकज़ुल मारिफ के फुज़ला ने एक बड़ा काम ये किया है कि यूनिवर्सिटीज में जाकर के एजुकेशन हासिल की है, मुख्तलिफ डिपार्टमेंट्स में पहुंचे हैं और इस वक्त मरकज़ुल मारिफ के फुज़ला में से 47 PhD होल्डर्स हैं और पता नहीं कितने PhD कर रहे हैं, माशाअल्लाह। और PhD करने के साथ साथ किताबों की तस्नीफ, तकरीर, हमारे कुछ ऐसे फुज़ला भी हैं जो अंग्रेजी मुल्कों में जाकर के अंग्रेजी पढ़ा रहे हैं। अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, ये अल्लाह का फजल है। और MMERC के बानियान और इसकी फिक्र देने वाले अकाबिरीन की वो तड़प और कुढ़न थी, वो कुढ़न है जो इसको कामयाबी की शाहराह अता कर रही है। खैर, ये मरकज़ुल मारिफ के ताल्लुक से चंद बातें थी जो मुझे अर्ज करनी थी और ताकि बात लोगों के सामने आ जाए। खैर, अब मैं अगले पेपर प्रेजेंटेशन की तरफ बढ़ता हूँ। द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक इज इस्लाम, मुस्लिम इश्यूज एंड कंटेम्परेरी मीडिया, व्हाई दिस स्टेरियोटाइपिंग। Brother Faisal Nasir is requested to come on the dais and present this paper.
Assalamu alaikum. Respected Maulana Badruddin Ajmal Sahab, honorable guests and dear friends. My article is on page number 310. I want to thank Markazul Ma'arif for giving me this opportunity to present my paper and be a part of this celebration. I am not an alumnus of this institution, but many of my friends, teachers have been educated here, and I have always been awestruck with their talent, ability and command over language. My topic is Islam, Muslims and contemporary media. Why this stereotyping? As we know, the world is constantly changing. The post 9/11 world is different from the past. After the Twin Tower attack in the USA, the international media started increasingly talking about Islam, Quran and Jihad. The September 11 attack was the deadliest attack on the superpower nation. All attentions were who did it, what was the religion of the perpetrator,